right, so this is going to be kind of a two-part question. So I'm going to give you a number one. You're going to need to use the answer to number one to answer number two. So for number one, you're going to add these numbers together. 8, 10, 15, 7, 20, and another 15. So we have 6 numbers here. You need to add them together. Get an answer. Okay. For number two, divide your number by 6. Divide your answer to number one. Okay, let me write that correctly. Okay, so first step, add your numbers together. Second step, divide whatever number you got by 6. Okay? Add these numbers and then divide it by 6 for number 2. So just 2 steps to a problem here. Add the numbers up and then divide that number by 6. So I'll give you about 5 minutes on this.
Okay. When your kids ask about energy drinks this morning, that's a little know.
Yeah, no, energy drinks. Yeah.
It was me, not
That's one of the things that they're not supposed to do. So the energy drinks, coffee, all that stuff.
We're not killing.
Find the problem. It's gonna be a remainder, but it's also school. I don't get it. Remember, no remainders, add a couple decimals.
And this is not.
Use the clipboard behind you. Grab a pencil. Got it.
Okay. What did I do?
Okay, a couple more minutes.
I re-grabbed all my desk to get my eraser.
On your free time, that's when you work on the other side. About 2 more minutes and then we will review this. Try it, please. And about 1 more minute.
You just gotta add it.
Add these numbers up first. Okay, about 30 more seconds and then we'll review this one. Yeah, go quickly. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and review this hormone. So this process that we're going to do right now, where we add up some numbers and then we divide it, is what we're going to do a lot of for the next week, really. So let's start by adding these up. I'm going to start with the 8 plus 7. What's 8 plus 7?
Okay, 95.
8 plus 7.
I don't know if that's right. 8 plus 7 is 15.
Thank you. 8 plus 7 is 15. Okay, and then I'm going to do 10 plus 20 because they're already kind of lined up. So 10 plus 20?
30.
30. And then we have 15 and 15. When you add, what do you get? 30 again. So now we have 15, 30, and 30. Let's add those. 30, 30, 15. So 0 plus 5 is 5. And then we have 3 plus 1. 7. So when you add them all up, you get 75. How'd you guys do on that part?
Good.
Adding is one that you guys should be pretty comfortable with adding things up. Now we're going to divide this by 6. Why do you guys think I chose the number 6 to divide it by?
Because it doesn't go in easily as a decimal.
It does end up as a decimal, but that's not why I chose it. Any other ideas? Look at this part. Why do you think I chose the number 6? Any other ideas? No?
Because 6 goes into 30 and 30.
No?
The even number?
Now you guys are all kind of on the right track. How many numbers do we see here?
6.
There's 6 numbers here. So I decided to divide by 6. What we're going to do a lot of this next week is we're going to have a list of numbers, add them together, and then divide by the number of numbers we just added together. That's why I chose 6, because we have 6 numbers here. And that'll make more sense when we move on to our notes for today. But we're going to take 75 and divide that by 6. So we need to look at 6. Does it go into 7? How many times? 1 time. Subtract into 1. What do I do next with this 5? Bring it down. Oh wait, let me write it. Does 6 go into 15?
Yeah.
Yes. How many times?
2.
Twice. 6 times 2 goes, or is what? 12. Subtract 15 minus 12 is 3. And I'm not done yet. What can I still do? Add your decimal and your 0. If I add a decimal and a 0, what do I do with my decimal? Bring it straight up. Good. And then, yeah, as Mr. Turner says, you gotta throw it up on the roof because it makes you feel like you want to throw up when you have to add a decimal and a 0. It's a good way to put it. So now does 6 go into 30 because we've dropped down that 0? It does. How many times? 5 times. And it goes in evenly, so we are done. So our answer would be 12 and a half here. 12 and 5 cents, 12.5, all the different things. So that is a process that we're going to do quite a few times this week. So let's go ahead and I think it actually just posted. So I'm going to head over to Google Classroom. I'll present my screen. And we have a little bit of notes. It's going to fill in the blank, so you do need to pull it up on your screen as well and be working through these with me. So on math, we have the mean, median, mode, and range notes. So we're going to go ahead and open up these Google Slides. The mean, median, mode, and range notes. It's only 2 slides, but I think it'll take us a decent amount of time to go through. So go ahead and get that pulled open. You can get zoomed in on it so it fits nicely on your screen. 100 works really well. There's one too many M's, but you were close. MMR. That is the abbreviation that gets used. Okay, so go ahead and open up those notes, please. Charlie, close the social studies for now and focus on math. Alrighty, so have those open. The mean, median, mode, range, notes. I'm gonna give you about 1 more minute to get those open. I see a lot of you guys getting there. Just finish it up. Okay. Have any of you guys heard of the mean, median, mode, and range before?
Nope. I've heard of, nope.
No? So this is all kind of pretty new.
I've heard home on the range.
Yeah. You might have heard the words mean. Mean. You've heard the word mean before, like, oh, she's so mean, right? Different context. That's how someone treats you. The mean, when it comes to math, means something completely different. Okay? And then you might have also heard the word range before. Yeah, home on the range, things like that. But again, in the context of math, it's going to mean something a little bit different. Median and mode, you might not have heard too much before. So we're going to go over what these 4 things are and kind of practice how to find all of them. They're all different things that you can find using a set of numbers. So they give you 5, 6, 15 numbers, however many numbers they want to give you. And you can find the mean, you can find the median, you can find the mode, and you can find the range from that set of data. So let's start with the mean up here on the left. You still have the zoom in thing. No, turn off the zoom in thing. So it says the mean is the blank of the numbers in the data set. This one I don't expect you to be able to guess. It's the average.
Is that what?
That's what you need to type there. It's the average of the numbers of the data set, which again, I don't really expect you to know what that means just yet.
That's nasty.
But when it says find the average of the set of data, it means you need to find the mean. So the average is another word for mean. All right.
Find the area.
No, we can't find the area of the data set.
Remember?
No, that's geometry. We're past geometry now. So in order to do the steps here, there is a little set of data underneath. It says 70, 71, 97, 71. We have some numbers down here, right? To find the mean of these numbers, you need to follow these first 2 steps. The first one is find the sum of the data set. What does it mean to find the sum of something? Addition, add them all up, which is exactly what we did with number 1 behind me on the board. We added up all kinds of numbers, right?
Uh-huh.
So step number 1 is to find the sum of the data set. Okay? So we would add all of those numbers together. Step number 2 is to blank the sum by the amount of numbers in the data set. What did we do for step number 2 over here?
Subtract.
Well,
Divided by the numbers.
Good. We added the numbers for step number 1, and then we divided for step number 2. So that blank for step number 2 is divide. Divide the sum by the amount of numbers in the data set. So for the mean, you're adding things together and then dividing. And we're going to practice it with those numbers underneath right there. Okay. I'm going to write those on the board behind me and work it up on the board behind.
Can I work on it right now?
Yeah, let's do that. So we have the numbers here: 70, 71, 97, 71, 62, 97, or 94, 95. First step is to do what with all of those numbers? Add them all together. So that's what I'm going to give you guys about 2 minutes to do. Add those numbers together. You can get a piece of paper. You can do it on your whiteboard. Whatever you need to do, but find the sum. Add them all together.
I'll put my arm. Dang, Charlie, or whoever that was, they should be in the opera.
Okay, so be adding those numbers together, please.
Which one? The first one?
Those ones.
Okay.
Sorry, I think I drew them.
A magic wooden.
Okay, adding the numbers.
Wait, so don't divide yet?
You don't have to divide just yet. We'll talk about that after. Start with the adding. I'm gonna give you about 1 more minute for the adding. I'm gonna check attendance while you guys do that. About 30 more seconds for the adding, and then we will do it together.
Yeah, it would just keep on going, there's no way it can.
Okay. Let's go ahead and add these. Let me stop presenting my screen and we will look at it behind me on the whiteboard. So on the whiteboard behind me, I have the numbers written out. I did them kind of stacked on top of each other so they're easier to add together. So let's start with 70 plus 71. 0 plus 1 is what? 1. 7 plus 7? 14. So that's the first one. Let's do 97 plus 71. What is 7 plus 1?
8.
Oh, wait, 8. Throw me off, Caleb. And then 9 plus 7 is what?
16.
16. Good. I think that's Juliana, so good job. The next part, next adding, we've got 2 plus 4 is?
6.
And then 6 plus 9 is?
15.
Good. And then we have the 95 that we'll add in as well. So let's do 141 plus 168. Next. Maybe, we'll see. What's 1 plus 8?
9.
9. 4 plus 6? 10, carry the 1. And then 1 plus 1 plus 1.
3.
Awesome. We've used these ones. Now we still have to add 156 and 95. So let's do 309 plus 156. Okay. 9 plus 6 is? 15. Carry your 1. 1 plus 0 plus 5.
6.
Awesome. And 3 plus 1.
4.
4. Good. And then we have one thing we have to add in left. 95. 465 plus 95. I'll just work over here to add all these, right? What's 5 plus 5?
10.
1. Good. 1 plus 6 plus 9. Good. 16, carry your 1. And then we've got 1 plus 4. 5. So, when you add them all together, what do we get? 560. Awesome. Huh. It equals 560. Well, we'll get there. Let's stop skipping ahead. So, on our notes, Skylar, please stop typing on the thing. Thank you. Where it says the sum, we need to put in the sum. What did we get?
5.
Perfect. 560. Now this says star of the data. That just means the number of data of points, right? So how many numbers did we just add together? Not 8. 7. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Good. So we have a sum of 560 when we added together 7 numbers. What is the last step here? What do I need to do? We have to divide. What do I divide?
7 by 560.
Good. 560 divided by 7. I'm going to go back to my whiteboard, so I'm going to stop. Did I even present at that time? I did. Okay. Here we go. There we go. Am I backwards still or am I good? You're good? Okay. Now we need to do 560 divided by 7. Does 7 go into 5?
No.
Nope. It does go into 56. How many times?
I got
8.
four. I got 4.
The adding was a little bit off? Nope. What is 8 times 7? 56. Subtract, and we get 0. I got a 0. Am I done?
No.
No.
Are you put the 0?
Good. We need to drop down that 0. Does 7 go into 0?
No.
No. So what do I have to put here?
0.
A 0. Do not forget your placeholder zeros. That is one of the biggest mistakes I see with dividing. That you guys forget about your placeholder zeros and you miss it by like a little bit. You just forget your zeros.
That's what I did, except, like, that's how I did it. Like, I even did all those zeros. Like, I did division, but I added differently. Like, I just put them all in line and added them.
That's fine. However you got your numbers is good as long as you're getting the right numbers. So, when we go back over to our notes, where it says the mean of the data set above is, what am I gonna put there? What was my answer? 80.
80.
Awesome. Oh, the box isn't very big. Make it a little bit bigger. There we go. So let's talk about the number 80 in terms of our data. So we have numbers that go from like 62, and then we got 70, 97. They're kind of all over the place. Where does 80 fall in that set of data? Is it at the end, the middle, the beginning? It's kind of in the middle of all those numbers, right? So when you're finding the average of data, the mean, you're finding the number that's really close to the middle. So the point, if you do the mean and you get a number that's like 85 over your biggest number, something went a little bit wrong. The number that you get for the mean should be somewhere in the middle of your biggest and your smallest number. Does that make sense? Kind of the middle of your data. That's what you're trying to find. Okay? So that's the mean. The mean is easily the hardest of the 4 to do. It's the longest process, the hardest to remember how to do. So that's the hardest one. Done. Let's go up to the top a little bit more and look at the next one. Now we're going to find the median of these numbers. It says, I'm out of breath for some reason. Sorry. Catch my breath a little bit. It says that after a set of numbers are ordered from blank to blank, we need to put the correct words in these blanks. What do you guys think? If you look down a little bit, it gives you a hint. No.
Least to greatest?
Awesome. Least to greatest. So the blanks. Huh? So what you're going to do is take your set of numbers and put them in order from least to greatest. Okay. That's the first step for these, least to greatest. What I've noticed over the years, when students are finding the median, they forget to put it in order from least to greatest. That is super important. You have to do that first, or else you're going to get the wrong answer. If you don't do it, you just find a random number in the data set, and it's not right. So, has to be in order from least to greatest. And then the next blank is that you're finding the middle number, the exact middle number of your data set. That's the median. Exactly in the middle. And I'll show you guys the easiest way to do that. And the exact middle of your data. I'll let you guys type that out really quick. Okay. Then down below, it says if there is an even amount of numbers in the set, you need to find the middle of the 2 middle numbers. So the mean of the middle 2 numbers, which we'll talk about next week when we get to a couple of those. It might happen today, but I don't think so. So we have the same exact set of numbers, and it says right here that we need to do what with them?
Least to greatest?
Put them least to greatest. So what's the first number that's going to go there? 62. Then what? We have a 70 and 71. There's 2 71s. Do I have to put both?
Yeah.
Yep, absolutely. You have to put both. 71, 71, then what?
94,
94,
95,
95, and
97,
97. Okay,
97.
I'm going to write this on the board behind me and show you guys how to find the middle numbers. We have 62, 70, 71, 71, 94, 95, 97. Okay, so you list these out in order from least to greatest. I'm going to go back to the whiteboard behind me. I have to stop presenting, right? So it's not backwards. Are we good?
Yeah.
Okay. The way that you find the middle set of numbers is you basically go from the outsides in. So on the outsides, we have 97 and 62. Cross them off. They're not the middle of your set. Then we go one step in. We can cross off 95 and 70. It's not in the middle of your data set. Then we can go another step in. 94 and 71 can go away.
So 71 is the middle.
What are you left with? What's directly in the middle?
71.
71. Here's your median.
Close to that.
That's it. That's all you do. What? That's why you have to use both 71s, yes. But that's the middle. That's the median. All you do is put them in order from least to greatest, cross them off from the edges until you get to the very last one in the middle. But you have to make sure you cross them off on both sides. Don't just do one side, because then you kind of ruin your steps in, right? So, when we go over to our notes, okay, head over to your notes. Huh? So, down below it says the median of our data set above is what?
71.
71. Good. How are you guys doing so far? Is this making some sense?
Yeah.
We have to put them in the least to greatest.
Because if we just took it in, what's the order it's written down already? 70, 71.
What if, but 71 is in the middle though?
It's not always going to end up like that.
Can you still do it greatest to least?
I wouldn't. I would just do it least to greatest. Yep.
So wasn't that still the answer?
For this one, yeah, but it's never really going to happen like that often. Like, yes, this one, it would have worked. We would have gotten 71, but that's just coincidence. It's not always going to happen like that. It has to, cool. It has to be least to greatest first, or else it's not going to work. You'll end up with your biggest number at the middle or something like that, and it's wrong. It has to be the middle number of your data. And I'm not talking about the number that just appears in the middle of the line of numbers. I mean the middle of the data. Like if you're going from 20 to negative 20, what's the exact middle?
0.
0. It's finding the exact middle of the numbers that you're given.
But greatest to least would also have the same middle, right?
It would, yeah, but least to greatest is going to be better. Because later you have to put an order from least to greatest for something else too. So it's just helpful that least to greatest is usually the first step I do on all of these. Okay, let's scroll down and look at the bottom part. The next one is the mode. The way that I like to remember mode is that it's the number that occurs the most. Mode is the most. That's what you're going to put in this blank. The one that happens the most in the data set.
We're gonna put on least to greatest.
Yep. Honestly, this one I don't think you need to put in least to greatest always, but you could. I erased it though. Let me write it behind me. 62. Okay. So finding the mode means that you're looking for the number that occurs the most. You don't.
All in the data would be
Yeah.
71, right?
It would. So we don't necessarily have to put these in order from least to greatest because you can look at them and see which one happens the most. So which number does happen the most in your data set? 71.
Oh, so you need to find the number that.
Yep. The mode is absolutely the easiest one. You're looking for the number that you see the most. I'm going to put them in order from least to greatest down here though. and highlight the number that happens the most. So do that as well for me, because if you're looking back at these notes, it'll be helpful for you if you have forgotten how to do it. That's why we take the notes. Good. All right, so once they're in order from least to greatest, the 71 is the one that we see the most. So it is our mode. Yeah, highlight it just so you know that you're looking for the numbers that happen the most. So down below, when it says the mode of the data set above is blank, what goes in that blank? 71. It's the number that happens the most. Good. I'm going to get a drink really quick while you guys finish typing those out.
That's not bad, it's not.
I know, I do talk fast. I always have. You talk fast, but you don't walk fast, you tell us, walk fast.
Alrighty. And then we have one more thing to learn about. This one is the range. The range is the blank of the largest and the smallest number in the data set. I don't expect you to know what goes there, so it's the difference. We're going to take the difference of the largest number and the smallest number. But you have to also then remember, what's the difference? What is a difference? What? Not opposite. It's the answer to what type of problem? If you're finding the difference. Huh? No, not addition. It's subtraction. For addition, it's the sum when you add them all together. So for this one, the range is the difference, or you're subtracting the largest number and the smallest number. So to fill out this chart, oh, a little too far, sorry. What is the largest number in our data set? What's the biggest? 97. Good, and the smallest is 62. Again, that's what's helpful about having an order from least to greatest, because you can very quickly pick out the largest and the smallest. And then you subtract 97 minus 62. Take about a minute, get this typed out, do the subtraction. I told you the hardest one is the mean. The other three go pretty quickly. Okay. 97 minus 62.
But we have to fill it out every time?
No, there will be questions that will just say find the mean, or it'll say find the range. Sometimes it will ask you for the mode and the median. So you got to know the difference between them too, right?
Yep.
Okay, what is 97 minus 62? 35. So you got to subtract them. And when you subtract, you get 35. That is our answer. The range is 35. So when you think about the range of something, it's the amount of numbers in between the biggest number and the smallest number. There's 35 numbers in between 62 and 97.
Oh, I know what we're doing on the next one.
Practice problems?
Yeah, and you have to find the answer to
Yeah, we're going to do it a couple times. We might do it one time though, because it's already a little bit late. I'm going to give you about 30 more seconds to finish typing out this top or this bottom section, and then we are going to move on to at least one practice problem on the next page. Because we're going to spend, like I said, this is a 2-week standard. We're going to practice tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, do a review of everything next Thursday, and take a test on Friday. So there's no test tomorrow, no, but you will have an assignment that's graded tomorrow, so you still got to do it. But it's a 2-week standard, so we spend 2 weeks practicing this. So that means we got a lot of practice for mean, median, mode, and range next week. I tried to find some fun activities, so hopefully they are engaging and fun.
This math is easy.
Yeah, it's not too hard, right? It's all things that you know how to do. We're just applying it to a different idea now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's go to slide number 2. Let's just do number 1 together, and then we'll be done for today. If you would like to, you can do number 2 and 3 on your own, but I only will need answers for number 1 when I'm checking this over. So it says the data shows the amount of hours that 7 kids played outside over the weekend. So we had kid number 1 played for 7 hours, kid number 2 played for 7 hours. Outside, yeah. Kid number 3 played for 11 hours outside. Kid number 4 played for 9 hours outside. Okay, I don't know how. Kid number, this one played for 8 hours outside. And the last 2 kids played for 7 hours outside. Over the weekend. That is a lot of time outside. So, what I like to do, I'm just going to do all of this behind me up on the board. So I'm going to go out of our screen in just a second. Dallin, will you read the numbers in order that they're shown?
7,
Uh-huh.
7, 11, 8, 7, 7.
Okay. So I have all of our numbers written on the board. I'm going to do the work on the whiteboard. I'd like you guys to be doing it along with me. Hang on. Let me finish my sentences. Cutting me off does not help. So we're going to start. I'm going to write all of the things we need to do on the board right here. We need to find the mean, the median, the mode, and the range. Before we start anything, my biggest suggestion is to just always put the data in order from least to greatest, because it asks you to do it on a couple of them. So it's just easiest to just start by putting in order from least to greatest. So what's my least? What would go first?
7, 7.
Yeah, we have 4 7s. So 7, 7, 7, 7. Then my next one is 8, and then 9, and then 11. So least to greatest, and then you can kind of just forget about the original set of data. It's in order from least to greatest for you. Now let's start with the mean. Let's just get the hardest one over first. In order to find the mean, what do I do first?
Add all them up.
Add all of your numbers up. So I want you guys to take a minute and a half. Add these up, please. So add the numbers. Start with adding them up.
Well, the median and the mode pretty much have the same.
Not always, but sometimes. They're pretty similar. Okay, so add our numbers together,
I'm
please.
going to do all of them.
Okay.
Does that say add?
Yeah, add the numbers all together. We're doing the mean.
No, why?
Are you adding? Okay. Okay, adding the numbers together. About 30 more seconds. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and add. So we got 7 plus 7. I'm just gonna make like a long line. What's 7 plus 7?
14.
None of that was right. 7 plus 7.
14.
Okay, then we got another 7. 14 plus 7 is
11.
21. Plus another 7 is 28. Now we got to add the 8. 36. And then we got 36 plus 9. 45. Okay. And then 45 plus 11 is
55, 56.
56. Sorry, my handwriting got really bad. So when we add them all together, we get 56.
I got it right.
Is that my answer?
No, you have to divide it by.
Good. It's not our answer yet. We still need to divide. How do you know what to divide by? Taylor, you said we divide by 7. Why is it 7? Because we have 7 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We added 7 numbers together, so we're going to divide by 7. This is a basic math fact. So how many times does 7 go into 56? 8 times. Now, that's our answer. Our mean is 8. So remember, the mean is a number that's kind of in the middle of your data set. Is the number 8 kind of in the middle of your set? Does it make sense? It does in this context. So our first one is 8. That's the mean. Add them all up and divide by the number of numbers. I wrote all over this. So we have 7, 7. Okay. Our next one is the median. What do I do to find the median? It's the middle of your data set. How do you find it? What do you got to do to find the middle? I have my numbers in least to greatest. That's the first step. But now what? Good. Cross out from the side. So start with the outside. The 11 and the 7 can go away. Move one step in. Cross out the next number in. Move in again. Cross out the 8 and the 7. What are we left with? 7. 7. There's the middle. There's our median. 7. That was a quick one. I like finding the median the best, I think. Nice and quick. Okay. The next one we need to find is the mode. What's another word for mode? Also starts with an M. Mode means no. Mode means go back to the notes. We wrote in the notes. Most. Mode means the most. The number that happens the most. Which number do you see that happens the most? 11 happens the most?
Oh, I said 7.
7 happens the most. There's 4 7s here. There's 4 7s. So there we go. Our mode is 7. It happens the most. And then we need the range. How do you find the range? What do you do to find the range? Go back to the notes. What do you got to do?
Find the biggest number and subtract the smallest number.
Good. Take the biggest number, 11, and subtract the smallest number, 7. 11 minus 7 is 4. There's all of our answers. We're done. We found the mean, median, and range. We can put it in. We have a question?
Question, absolutely.
Yeah.
If you've only got 6 numbers, how do you find the median?
I'll show you guys that in a minute. Yep. Is it number 2?
3.
Number 3? Okay, we'll look at that one real quick. So I'm going to present my screen. Let's go put our answers in. And then Dallin has a question about number 3. That's a really good question that I'm going to show you guys. Okay. Before we get logged out.
Can I turn it in?
Not yet.
The biggest number and I go.
Then there's no mode.
So it's 0 then?
Not a 0, because that would say that 0 is the mode. You just say no mode. Okay, so the mean was 8. The median is
7.
7. The mode,
7.
the range is 4. Good. So, like I said, Dallin had a question about number 3. So we're going to just look at this one. He has a question about the median. So I want to look at that. Well, I'm going to write it up on the board behind me. What are our numbers? Dallin, read the numbers for me. Okay, you guys are saying different numbers at the same time. 43, 34, 29. Okay, so yep. So this is number 3. Dallin had a good question about the median. To find the median, we have to put them in order from least to greatest first. So what's our number that's the least? 22. Then what? 28, 29, 34, 36, 43. Okay, so when you start doing your crossing off, it doesn't leave you with one number in the middle, right? So we have 43, 22, in one step is 36 and 28, and you're left with 2 numbers. You have to find the middle of these 2 numbers. No, you have to find the mean of these. Basically, you need to add them together. 29 plus 34. What's 9 plus 4? Yes, 63. And then you gotta divide 63 by 2 because you added together 2 numbers.
Which you'll get, I think,
30.
30 point, I don't know. 31.5. So that's the answer then?
Yeah. So if you were to find the exact middle of 29 and 34, it's 31.5, and that's your median.
So then you have to subtract, so you just do the median and the mean right there?
Yeah, once you get to where you have 2 numbers left for the median, you have to find the mean of them, the average, the middle of those 2 numbers. So you have to add them up and divide by 2. If you're left with 1 number in the middle, that's your median. But when there's 2 numbers in the middle, you have to add them up, divide by 2. Doesn't happen super often, but it will happen if you have an even number of numbers. Does that make a little bit of sense? We'll practice that too next week. It happens quite a bit in our data when we're practicing.
Oh.
No, we were just doing that one.
Up on the other one.
Yeah, if you guys want to finish these, feel free. If not, that's fine too, because we're going to do a ton of practice with this starting tomorrow. If you want to go and do the other 2, you're more than welcome to, but you do not have to. So, maybe instead of asking me like 8 different questions, let me finish my sentences. Please. You can get it turned in because you don't need to finish it up. That's fine. So you can finish it if you'd like to, and then turn it in after, just as a little bit of extra practice. Or you can get it turned in. Those of you that are online, we have to head to lunch here in a few minutes. So you guys are free to go, and we have social studies at 12:30, so make sure you're here for that, please. Those of you here, we got about 5 minutes to be working on that.
Bye.